Hi, I'm Kelly with Pacific Crest Building Products. We're here in Sumner, Washington, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to install our panel lock accent wall. We'll be doing a demonstration on this 13x9 wall behind me. So first thing, we prepared our wall. We've taken the outlet covers off and I've marked out all of the studs. Now I'm going to measure and draw our two outlets so I can draw it on the back of our panel. So we're going to measure this out. First side of that is 33 inches. Draw it, two outlets. First side 33, 35, to the second side. Next one is 38 and 40 and a quarter. 40 and a quarter. I'll do the height off the ground, 16 to 19 and a half. With that, we're going to take our panel out in the warehouse and we will draw it and cut it out. So now we've marked out where our outlets are on the back. We're going to cut them out. We need to use a drill and poke a hole through each one so we can get the jigsaw started. I have it clamped to a sheet of plywood to help prevent the drill from blowing out the back side or the face of our accent wall. So we'll go ahead and drill a hole. Okay, that way. Kick off our clamps. I'm going to clamp it back to my table. That way it doesn't move around when we're cutting it with the jigsaw. Our jigsaw, we're just going to cut out our outlets. So now we got our holes cut out. We're going to take it in the office and make sure everything lines up. The one thing I do want to note is when you are measuring to mark out your holes that you're going to cut, it's very easy to measure from the backer board, but you need to measure from the actual bottom of the plank. Otherwise you'll end up doing what I did and marking them about 3/4 of an inch too high. So we have our panel and we've got our two outlets cut out. We're going to make sure we have it all lined up correctly. Outlet come through. That one, bring it against the wall, the frame. The next step is to make sure it's level with our little 2-foot level, which is right there. We're going to use 2 trim screws. They have very small heads, and we're going to put the screws where the studs are marked out in the top backer panel of the sheet. And put them in there so they're just flush. Make sure no sawdust or wood chips get in the tongue and groove portion. The backer board is cut out in a way that it overlaps the previous panel. Again, we'll make sure it's level. Our floor may not be. While making sure our end is matched up and as close as possible. in with our trim screws where we've marked out the studs. Onto our third panel. Sure. Markings match up. Perfectly level. Out. Next, we have to cut a panel down for our end piece. So we have our 3 panels down full length. We've come to a short spot here. We're going to measure it, and then we're going to go back up to the warehouse and we'll cut 1 panel down to fit in this hole. So we've got it marked out 11.5 inches. I have a guide clamped to the backer board. We want to cut again from the back side. That keeps the nicest edge on the face that you're going to see. And we're going to be cutting with a skill saw. Let's go do that. Nice pretty finish on the front. We got our last piece cut. We're going to make sure it's straight and level with the other piece before it, which it is. We only have 1 stud to hit, so we're going to put 1 screw in it. Now that our entire first row is done, we're going to use the other portion of this panel to offset our first panel on our second row. So we have our cutoff piece from the smaller portion at the end of our first row. We're going to start our second row with it by setting it in at an angle and then letting it tongue slide into the groove. Make sure it's square. Again, we're going to make sure it's level. We are. We'll put our trim screws in where we've marked the studs. Same process. So you can use wooden shims for shimming doors. You can slide them in between the boards and it'll help you hold it up in place if your alignment is off. With 1 screw in, have some adjustments we can make to make it perfectly level. Okay. So on our last row, I've cut it down to size. Use the last piece off of our fourth row. Put that in there. Line it up. Put a screw right through the face of one of the darker boards. You'll barely be able to see it. We'll be able to provide you with the colors, actual colors of stain, so you can cover up any marks, or if the raw wood gets exposed, you'll be able to make it the same color as the board. You can see the wall is nearly completed. About ready to put the very last panel on. The key, again, to the whole edge on that side is you'll have a part of the backer board sticking up, and that'll have to be cut down so you can get it flush to the corner of the wall. So let's go ahead and put this up. We left a 5/8, half-inch to 5/8 gap at the very top. Don't think you can see it. We can't see it from the ground. But it also allows you to be able to manipulate the panel easier, as well as being able to have room to take it back off if you need to. Or want to take it with you for moving or something of those sorts. So we've completed our wall. Some tips and tricks. This is the edge that you need to cut off when you come to the whatever side you're ending on, which is usually the left. The top, we left a 1/2 inch to 5/8 gap, so you can have room to slide it up and take the panel off or put it back on. When you do to the top panel, since you're not going to have this edge, we put the screws through the V-groove where you can hardly notice them when you're completed. Something that may happen during the process when you have to cut a panel back, if you have a board that comes loose, just put a little wood glue in there and you can put that on. Once this is in the wall, it's locked in with all the other panels and it can't come out, but it won't be loose if you put glue in. So this is the top panel, what's left after we cut our 9.5 inches for the top row off. As you can see, there's no bottom tongue anymore, so you can't use it. However, if you do cut it back from, let's see if I can show you this. If you cut it back from the tongue, 7/8 of an inch, you can actually have this board be the next panel, depending on how big you need it for the top row. And that's how you can save an entire panel, depending on how much you cut off. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.